So hi everyone, today in this video we're gonna develop another mental model that can be useful for you since mental models are representations about how the reality works. And as much more you grasp them, higher is your probability of understanding better the reality that you are stuck in. And then so if you want to understand better the reality, you have to develop your ability to get information that exists. Because the information that exists is what ultimately so build your beliefs and so all your repository of knowledge that you use to base your decisions. And decisions is what so makes you have certain actions in comparison with other ones that you don't select to do. And obviously so are the actions that creates the objectives and the prosperity that we seek for. And then so for that we require to have information, require to have knowledge. And then so obviously so how you grasp them by studying a lot of fields that we have today. But obviously neither everyone has time to study. And then so what could be like the existence of something that could be like a resumed abstract concepts that are so implicit in the type of text studies that were done in history. And that's where appears, and that's something that we can call as the mental models. Models are like the simplest way so to see the information, facts, and are so the type of thing that's most powerful to take from things that we study, are patterns that we take from the reality. And obviously, so these are mental models. They can be taken from wherever is the field of study that you do. And then, so what's going to be the mental model that we're going to talk today is going to be the crony capitalism. When business and government team up against, it will be a statement that I can do so to make you understand a bit about this mental model. But then, so how it works. So it's like the core idea of these mental models. The crony capitalism, I could say that's like a corrupt system where business collude with the government to reach markets, stifle competition, and redistribute wealth to elites. And like what we call, like, imagine that's the deal, the free market capitalism, which rewards innovation and who always better. We see more like a crony capitalism that rewards political connections, backrooms deals, and legalized bribery. So it's like capitalism for the rich, socialism for the powerful. But then, so now that we have taken and we have understood what we're talking, how it works, so we need to develop a bit more about so how this mental model works and how it is constructed. So first, we have a bullet point that I would like to understand, that is the lobbying and campaign financing. And what so could be described? Corporations that fund politicians' campaigns in exchange for favors like tax breaks, subsidies, or lax type of regulations. What could be examples like the big oils spends around two, listen that number correctly, they spend around 200 millions a year lobbying to block climate policies. See, so how people that relies in that specific type of elements, they cut away the type of competition that could exist in the case of the oil's renewable energy. And then so because it's not something that power is good for them, but for all the majority of the population will be, what they do obviously with all the type of profit that they still get by being a main player, they use it to so create a competitive advantage that is creating barriers to entry for new type of competition that could use renewable energy instead of so of the big oil. That's so something that puts them in trap. But what's then so it creates like the components for so the governments receive incentives to create policies so to break and make it difficult for the renewable type of energy to emerge because they have incentives to not doing it. Money is one of the best ones. So another bullet point, regulatory capture. Agencies meant to protect the public like the FDA, the SEC, are controlled by the industries they regulate. So what could be the example? Eggs, pharma executives leading the FDA approved unsafe drugs for profits. 3. We have the privatized gains, socialized losses. Another tendency that we see a lot. Corporations keep profits but dump risk costs on taxpayers, and this obviously with bailouts and pollution cleanups we see a lot, mainly with public type of companies. When they have profit, they privatize it for them. But when they're in loss, they use so the money that comes from taxpayers of the countries that so they work. And then so obviously it's something that's negative uh, for everyone that is on their country that sees their money so being invested in something that the result that are the profit they're not come in terms of dividends, it will just come for people that are so the private type of owners of that companies. And then so obviously it's something that we should do having attention so towards it to try to fight it. What could be like the real world examples that I can provide to you? So we have the 2008 bank bailouts. Wall Street banks caused the financial crisis, then received what? 700 billions in taxpayer money while homeowners got foreclosed. Fossil fuel subsidies. So governments give around 7 trillion years in subsidies to coal oil giants, the same companies posting record profits. PPP loan scandals, so private public type of partnerships that the loans that happens on the we have some scandals that kind of reveals so this type of tendency of this mental model to exist as well in this type of partnerships. So like the USA COVID relief funds meant for small businesses went to celebrities, politicians, and fraudsters, and big stacks regulatory shields. Amazon and Google as well, they lobby for laws that crush small competitors, like banning local retailers from same-day delivery. And then so obviously why it matters. I think everyone's got it. Inequality, this is something that makes the perpetuation of inequality and is explaining that we got, like the top 1% capturing 38% of the wealth growth since 2020, while the bottom 50% got just 2%. Stagnation, cronyism, so costs the global economy 3.5, 3.6 trillion a year in lost productivity, and democracy erodes. So 71% of people believe governments serve the rich, not the public, and is taken so from service that some of the people that obviously so get and work with that do. But then so how to fight this crony capitalism? And this video is not saying that capitalism is bad. It's saying that certain sides of the capitalism, if it's not so regulated, if we kind of not control the free capitalism, we also gonna have a tendency to show the people that are top by being in that type of system, they have also to remain beings in their top and accumulating the resources, with not so obviously being that much fair. But then, so how to fight the crony capitalism? So a point will be the transparency laws, the publicity so track how lobbying, political donations, incorporate subsidies. We have the break monopolies, another type of thing that is useful. Monopolies are just useful for the people that are the owners of these monopolies, not for all the population, and the majority of policies that are made to satisfy so the welfare of everyone and not just of one of the part of the population. And then so enforce antitrust laws like the block mergers like Amazon MGA. We have the campaign finance reform, ban corporate donations and publicly fund elections, and public pressure obviously, boycotts, chronic crimes, support grassroots movements like the Occupy Wall Street. So with that video, I expect that you can take certain type of insights that you can be useful for you to understand better the world, see by understanding better this crony capitalism, which so makes you understand better the economic system that we are, you can so make better type of decisions wherever it is when you're going to vote in the election, wherever it is so you're acting in that field. Understand that exists that people that are a lot powerful, they have a lot of resources, having car with that. Importance of networking is why people praise a lot of networking with the right people, not to have to be that much of high people that you have to connect, but you have like to connect with the right ones that have a lot of these rich, a lot of this type of accumulation of resources on Beam, you're so gonna have a higher probability of so making the wishes that you have being true. So I expect this was enough to make you like this video, to subscribe to the channel, and without much more to say, thank you, and if other videos may trigger your interest, feel free to see it. So see you in the next one.